Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. And in our top stories today from the Washington Times, America's newspaper. Trump sentencing in New York hush money case is postponed until September 18th. New York court must deal with impact of Supreme Court immunity ruling. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as you know here on the BuzWeaver channel, we take the difficult, we take the complicated, we take the tumult, we take the confusion, we take the misdirection, misinformation, disinformation, and absurdity that comes out of the mouth of Democrats, out of the left, out of the progressives, and out of the media, because these individuals, many of them, plan a lot of this stuff ahead of time. So whether it was states that were pursuing Donald Trump to remove him off the ballot, or in the case of here in Georgia with Fani Willis, and then of course with Letitia James, Judge Engoron, Alvin Bragg, Judge Merchan, and the governor of New York, all these people coordinating together had to have realized, as we have said here on the BuzWeaver channel, that this day would come when this continued persecution towards Donald Trump was going to have to be reviewed by the Supreme Court, because this was getting completely out of hand. Now, I would argue that, as we have said here on the channel, that these individuals, but more specifically the Establishment Uni-party, weren't interested in the rule of law. They weren't interested in justice. What they needed was Donald Trump's name in the headlines. In particular, they wanted to make sure that there was some conviction of some sort towards him, of course, so they could start a lot of their articles and a lot of their agitating and berating of Trump by saying, former convicted felon Donald Trump, or convicted former President Donald Trump. And we know this because from Judge Merchan's own rules in his own court, which go way outside of any known courtroom that I've ever known of or have ever participated in, where they allowed for individual verdicts from jurors. Individual jurors' verdicts. Whether it was 4 juries could agree on one thing, 4 could agree on the second, and 4 could agree on the third. It's absolutely absurd. It was so agonizingly terrible that TikTok banned my account after having posted this. Now, of course, it wasn't just solely this particular post that did it, but, I think it was like 12 or 13 different ones. But suffice it to say, there isn't anything overtly absurd that I post that the media does continuously all the time. Let's read as I digress. A New York judge on Tuesday delayed former President Donald Trump's sentencing, if such is still necessary, to September 18th to provide time to determine whether the U.S. Supreme Court's decision on presidential immunity voids the conviction secured by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. State Supreme Court Judge Juan Merchan issued an order saying he would rule on questions about immunity on September the 6th. He delayed the sentencing, initially scheduled for July 11th, hours after Bragg said he did not object to Mr. Trump's push to postpone the sentencing while the court mulls the justice's opinion in Monday's landmark ruling. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled that a president has absolute immunity from prosecution for official actions, but has no immunity for unofficial actions. There you have it. Can you believe the media actually explained it in clear language? That normally, that's what we do here on the BuzWeaver channel. We have to come over here, then we have to go to the actual ruling and read it. Under our constitutional structure of separations of power, the nature of presidential power entitles a former president to absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for actions within his conclusive and preclusive constitutional authority, and he is entitled to at least presumptive immunity from prosecution for all his official acts. There is no immunity for unofficial acts. So the idea that Trump could organize SEAL Team 6 or any other absurd concoction that the left was able to come up with, and I saw some absurd individual on Twitter tweet that, well, since Joe has absolute power here, they should just dismiss the Supreme Court, right? I mean, it's just, and it's funny, isn't it? Because it's the left that already wants to try to abuse this potential. It's absolutely incredible because, of course, if it wasn't in place, then they would have to go after Barack Obama almost immediately for having unlifed, as they say, or unalived 16-year-old, right here, Abdul al-Raham al-Walaki, an American citizen. that was hit with a drone strike because he went to go visit his father, but he's still an American citizen and he's entitled to due process. But it's absolutely extraordinary, is it not, ladies and gentlemen, that the Joe Biden administration, the establishment, and these absurd lawfare trials against Donald Trump is completely falling apart. As a matter of fact, and I meant to pull this up for you guys, was that Trump actually went up in the polls. Normally, it would stay either even or maybe he would drop a little bit if things weren't going all that well. Or in the case of the establishment covering for Joe Biden so much that it would just be tied. But Donald Trump actually went up one. And, of course, as you know, yesterday, for all of you guys that watched, I did have a video up. But because I was listening to the track in the background to see if it was the correct volume, I never put the actual commentary track in the video. So some of you guys were kind enough to like the video and so forth. But, yeah, all you could hear was just the music. But speaking of Donald Trump's continued, well, like I was saying, there is a process in place for presidents that act outside of their unofficial duties. And, right? We see it here. It goes to Congress first. It goes to the Congress. He's impeached. It goes to the Senate. They decide what's going to happen, and then they send it over to the Department of Justice. See? Senate acquits Trump for inciting Capitol riot, even as bipartisan majority votes to convict. They impeached him, right? The Senate on Saturday acquitted former President Donald Trump in a 57-43 vote on the charges of inciting insurrection for his role in January 6th Capitol. Why does the media not constantly show this like they do everything else? But right now, they are so preoccupied with what's going on with Joe Biden that I don't even think they're thinking about it. You cannot make this up, says Big Fish. And this is from Anthony Scaramucci. You remember, many of you may remember him. I went to President Biden's fundraiser in East Hampton, and I thought he did quite well reading the teleprompter today and meeting with people. However, this is not going to be enough to prove to the American people that he's up for another 4 years. And then Brian Skelter of CNN, Brian Skelter, said he uses a teleprompter at a fundraiser? It's absolutely extraordinary. Hear from Elon Musk, and this is what we say here on the BuzWeaver channel. You would think that Elon Musk has been watching some of my videos. Well, I'm trying to take too much credit there, aren't I? Elon says that almost the entire media repeated the same lies with the exact same words in distributing. And it's disturbing distributing. I'm getting ahead of myself here. So, it is disturbing that they all worked in unison. But like I've said, they all work in coordination. I'm going to let you guys listen to just some of this because it's 6 minutes long. It's 6 minutes long.
This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever.
He is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America, I mean billionaires in America.
This is a man who is sharp, who is on top of his game, who knows what's going on.
He's sharp.
Smart. He's on
He's
his
sharp.
game. His mental acuity.
If you don't believe me,
great.
you're a liar.
This is a very sharp president.
Very sharp,
and the people
very
that
sharp.
I've talked to say he's as sharp as a tack.
He is
fine.
as sharp
They say
as
he's
a tack,
sharp.
guys.
There's not a problem.
Sharp as a tack.
He was sharper than any.
Okay, I won't subject you to the rest of that. But if you do want to see it, it's you can look it up by Elon, and I would just type in that almost the entire media repeated the same lie with the exact same words in is disturbing. So if you guys want to look that up. Then, of course, here, and I can't play the sound because it's Survivor, Eye of the Tiger, and then Enya, Only Time in the music. But just watch this, and you can see what everyone saw. There's Survivor, Eye of the Tiger. This is the end of the debate, and the gentlemen are walking off. There goes Donald Trump, strutting like he normally does, confident, brave, in a position of leadership, and off he goes. And, of course, when he ran around the corner, everybody was clapping for him there in that little waiting room. And here's Joe Biden. Now, it goes over to Enya's Only Time. And then here's the president. Here's the sharp as the tack Joe Biden. Now, I feel kind of bad talking about this, but I'm not trying to be overly ugly about it, but CNN actually allowed this video to be released. CNN actually allowed that video to be released. That is absolutely extraordinary. And here we have Nancy Pelosi, who can barely contain her composure.
And, while he may be saying we're enablers, we see Joe Biden up close. We know how attuned he is to the issues, how informed he is. And I debate with him about legislation, not debate, but discuss it with him. He's right there. So in any case, it was a bad night. Let's not
Get it out, Nancy.
sugarcoat that. It was a bad night. It was a great presidency. And
you see, this is what they try to sell everybody. And if you don't believe them, you're the conspiracy theorist. You're the one who's out of touch. You need to be shut down. Why are they letting you talk on social media? This is absolutely ridiculous. You need to be shut down because there is nothing wrong with Joe Biden.
I continue to think we have to make fundamental changes in civil rights. And those civil rights, by the way, include not just only African Americans, but the LGBT community.
He wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare
I did not oppose busing in America. What I opposed is busing ordered by the Department of Education. That's what I oppose.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if
you will determine the outcome of this election, vote, vote, vote. If you're able to vote early in your state, vote early. If you're able to vote in person, vote in person. Vote whatever way is the best way for you, because he cannot stop you.
And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
I think everybody gets that. It's absolutely extraordinary. And, of course, the media is completely melting down.
That right now, as we speak, there is a deep, a wide, and a very aggressive panic in the Democratic Party. It started minutes into the debate, and it continues right now. It involves party strategists. It involves elected officials. It involves fundraisers. And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was dismal, which they think will hurt other people down the party in the ticket. And they're having conversations about what they should do about it. Some of those conversations include, should we go to the White House and ask the president to step aside? Other of the conversations are about, should prominent Democrats go public with that call? Because they feel this debate was so terrible.
This is 5 days ago. 5 days ago, and they're still talking about it. They're still concerned about it. But, I mean, this is the Establishment Uni-party that has been covering for Joe Biden for the last, 4 or 5 years since he's been campaigning. And now the world got to see the reality of it all. And what's interesting is, here's the mainstream media coming out and attacking their boy, as the kids like to say.
It is yet another extraordinary moment in the 2024 election cycle, with Democrats in a state of crisis after President Joe Biden delivered a disastrous debate performance that fueled voters' top concerns about his age and ability to serve another 4 years in office. Not since the first Nixon-Kennedy debate in 1960 has a debate had as much potential to shake up a presidential race. This morning, there is widespread panic within the Democratic Party and questions about whether the president should drop out of the race.
I think it was a disaster. I think it was like maybe the worst debate I've ever seen in my entire life.
I do think people feel like that we are confronting a crisis.
There were going to be discussion about whether he should continue.
At first it was shocking, then it was scary, then it was sad, and by the end it was absurd.
This was your first time?
Sticking
your first time realizing this?
John, saying we
your
want
first
someone
time?
else. And anybody who says that is not a tough call right now is full of
On Friday, in a stunning move, the New York Times editorial board called on President Biden to serve his country and drop out of the presidential race. NBC News has learned that President Biden is expected to address his campaign with his family at Camp David. That's according to 5 people familiar with the matter.
Yeah, we covered it here on the channel.
First Lady
That
Jill
was amazing.
Biden arrived there late last night to join their children and grandchildren in a trip planned before Thursday's debate. The campaign was always going to be a topic of conversation, but now undoubtedly Thursday's debate will be front and center. Senior advisor Anita Dunn addressed the matter on Saturday.
All right, Anita.
You all did not have any kind of conversations about, should Joe Biden drop out of this race?
The conversation that we had is, okay, what do we do next? Okay, that is, if there's one thing that we're about,
strategist.
Okay.
Biden strategist.
Barack Obama said, bad debates happen. We had a bad debate. What do we do next? And, you know, the president, above all, is focused on what do we do next? What do I need?
Wait, the president is focused?
To go do it.
President Biden, who agreed to the earliest general election debate in modern political history, had one goal: to persuade voters who are skeptical about his age and fitness for office that he is up to serve another 4 years.
Right.
Mr. Biden has consistently told voters, watch me.
If I were to run, I think they're going to judge me on my vitality. Can I still run up the steps of Air Force Two? Am I still in good shape? Do I have all my faculties? Am I energetic? I think it's totally legitimate for people to ask those questions.
You know, it's amazing, isn't it? Because the media is turning on Joe Biden, their guy, or as the kids say, their boy. They're turning on him. It's absolutely extraordinary. But yesterday's ruling by the Supreme Court was one of those things that was absolutely necessary. And we saw when the states tried to remove Donald Trump off the ballot that it was just a play. It was just lawfare, show trial nonsense. And that's exactly what we're seeing in New York. Whether it's 𝐀𝐦𝐚𝐳𝐽, whether it's the hush money, whether it's fraud, it's absolutely a game that's being played here for political reasons. Donald Trump is being politically persecuted. People can see it. The world can see it. Their evil is out of just ridiculous. They're reaping what they're sowing. You know, when you have evil intents towards people, this is what happens to you. You know, good is going to triumph in the end. So it is just insane to me what we're witnessing right now. And as we've said here on the BuzWeaver channel, it's 2024 and it's going to be insane. It is going to be crazy. And we're not even through the year. But now with this change in the hush money trial, I can imagine the left are absolutely on fire. But I want to thank all you guys for your continued support across all New Tech, as well as here on YouTube for your guys' continued support. And, of course, below the video, you can find the various social media links that I belong to. I would encourage you guys to follow me there. And, of course, my affiliate marketing links for Amazon as well as Trust Zone. That also helps out the channel. But most of all, of course, liking and sharing does help out a great deal. Appearing there on the screen, that would be the channel icon. You guys can click on that if you're watching this on YouTube, of course. You can select that to subscribe, as well as to select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.